not a Power 5 kid. And then they might not even be a Group of 5 kid. They might be an FCS level kid. With the promo, what's happening across college football, staffs are being, broadened. There's more and more people in every staff focusing on different things. So you got recruiting people, you got portal people, you got combination, you got player personnel managers, you got, whatever, general managers, whatever you want to call it. And they'll note stuff, so if a kid's getting a promo through us, right? And might put a little note. And then a couple years later, that kid's coming from FCS and he's in the portal and it rings a bell, or they look him up in their system and they're like, oh yeah, this was a kid that, we promoted. We didn't feel he was our level at that time, but we liked him. We just felt FCS was a place for him. Let's take a look at him now. And 2 years later, he's grown, he's got bigger, he's stronger, he's played well at the FCS level for a couple of years. They're going to remember you more. And the other part of it too is, I've been doing this forever, and I've always seen these companies that do it. You don't know who the hell they are. You never heard of them. This is Jimmy Schwartz from blah, 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 right? Who the hell is Jimmy Schwartz? I don't know who that is, right? I've never heard of him before in my life. And he's going to promote me to get a college football scholarship. At least you've heard of us. And that's kind of important because, with that comes respect and comes, I've had big, I won't say what conference, but I kind of just did, but I just said big. I won't say which one. I've had coaches recently reach out to me and say, hey, thanks for the kind words, or you're doing a great job. I've had coaches text me recently and say, what the hell was that article you just wrote? That sucked, because it was critical of their program. They're paying attention. That's the thing. And they're not paying attention to these other guys too. And I also find myself kind of going back to check on these guys. I don't know why. This is something when I was, at that other company forever, if an email came through about a kid that didn't have offers, I didn't care. Just life. I didn't have time to care because I was so focused on the 5s and 4s and all this other stuff. Now it's kind of personal. Like, you've purchased a program from me. I kind of care about where you end up now. And before I didn't. That didn't make me a jerk. It just wasn't my job before. Now it's kind of like, hey, I'm checking in. What's going on? Well, I got a couple FCS offers. It's still not what I want, but it's helped. Or, I got the offer that I wanted. This is great. And that's kind of like, I just find myself overly involved. It's not like a situation where we do the promo, we put it out there and we forget about it. I've unfortunately invested in this in my head, and it takes up a lot of my time, but I think that's good sales point for the promo.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And there's a bunch of guys that are emerging right now, and I just think it's a great program. It's a unique program. Look, time invested by myself and you, the years invested in the experience. I mean, that's what you need. You need the experience, and there are companies that have been doing it for a long time. But do you get Mike Farrell, Dave Schuman? No, you get some guy who just got out of college, who's
never heard of those.
Right, and I laugh at some of the, and you may have seen it, because of some of the algorithm stuff. But I've seen like some of these guys who are still in college, okay, or like at D3 schools that players, or just graduated, all of a sudden giving recruiting advice based off of what, their own experience. How is that recruiting? Here's one of the things that I think you always have to be careful of. Experience is incredibly valuable in this industry, and people don't realize that. What they don't realize is that the connections and the people that you have dealt with for over all these years encompasses most of college football, not just for my own business, from NUC Sports, but obviously playing, and all the coaches that coached me and all their years of experience and connections, and myself coaching for all those years. Those develop relationships. So it's not that someone can't be smart enough in recruiting as a young person that just came out, but they don't have the experience to understand how everything works. And I always say this, your experience as your own recruiting process, okay, and I can use myself in the same thing, is going to be very different than someone else's. The experience of years of being involved in it gives the experience that you have thousands and thousands of people that you've seen go through different recruiting experiences, and that's how you get the information to be able to help players in the right way. When guys spout off, when you're out of college, no disrespect, but like what your recruiting experience is, your recruiting experience for your particular situation. That is not like 20 different other guys' situation. And that's one of the things that both me and Mike really have a unique aspect on, where Mike has been with the 5 stars, the 4 stars, and he's had to rate them back in the days when they used to do 2. So like he had to figure out the small nuances, and people don't realize there are small nuances, right, when you're rating those players. I've seen coach Division 3 players, Division 2 players, Division 1 players, and FCS players. And then I've also obviously, as a player myself, have played around these guys and seen where different people fell through the cracks, and then the relationships with those college coaches. Those are all important things that you're getting. That the truth is, and this is just this is my opinion on it, is that the price that we charge is ridiculously low and undervalued as far as pricing wise, and that's why you should take advantage of it, because once this begins to